Hi everyone, welcome to our channel and welcome to our fire lifestyle. This video is very special for us because I'm making this video on board the Singapore Airlines Suite. It has always been, or it was always our dream to be flying in this Singapore Airlines Suite, and it was part of our bucket list. And we are fortunate enough to start our third world trip on board this, and it has just been an amazing experience so far. And this is what financial independence is all about, and that is what I'm going to talk about in this video. So the FI part of the fire. The last few videos that I did were about the RE part of fire, that is the approaches to retirement, working during retirement, etc. And in this one I will talk about what basically or essentially is financial independence, what are the stages that you go through in this path towards financial independence, and what are the things that you have to watch out for. And interestingly, we just had our first meetup from the channel, and we were very fascinated that we were meeting people in the different stages, and they had questions that how do they know that they've achieved financial independence, how do they know that at what stage they are. So this is an important thing to discuss and bring it up on this video. So let's get started. Let's first start with what is the definition of financial independence. In our definition, financial independence is the ability to maintain your desired lifestyle and expenses for life without the need for trading your time for money. So if I break this definition down a bit, that means that you have your investments, assets are sufficient enough that whatever is your target expenses in future, not your target expenses today, but your desired and target expenses in future, that your assets and investments is sufficient enough to make sure that it can sustain that for the rest of your life with all the inflation adjustments, etc. You don't require to have an active income or an active employment, and you can still continue to work, do some kind of hobby work, etc., but that is more for a passive income or just as a hobby job. So this is, in our way, the qualitative definition of financial independence. If you try and quantify that mathematically, this would be what we've addressed in many of our videos, that is the 4% rule, the safe withdrawal rate, etc. As we mentioned on those videos, that 4% rule is more of a rule of thumb. Ideally, you should be targeting that your total assets and investments, excluding the house that you live in, if you withdraw 3% of that, and that 3% is your targeted annual expenses, then adjusted to inflation, you should be able to sustain. That means you're getting into this territory of financial independence. And in case you do not know your total assets, etc., but you know what your desired or targeted expenses would be in future, then you multiply that with 35. That is the total number of investments and assets that you should be targeting to build to achieve that financial independence. To go through this journey to achieve financial independence, you go through multiple stages and phases. The first basic phase, and that is something that is a base that carries on for life, is financial awareness. Now, as we keep saying in many of our videos, it is such an unfortunate thing and pity that during our education, schooling, university years, even during our professional life and career, we are not taught about personal finance. So our financial awareness is fairly low. We are taught about all Pythagoras theorems, a square plus b square equals to c square, etc., etc., Battle of Waterloo, and also and so forth. But we are never taught about bucket strategies, sequence of returns, how do you double in income every 5 years, and so on and so forth. And that is why financial awareness is a very basic and the foundation that everybody should have, and they should start in their 20s. And honestly, even while we are in our 50s, we are still building our financial awareness, and this is one of the channels where all the interaction is also enriching our financial awareness day in, day out. So that's the stage number one. The stage number two is achieving financial security. And financial security is where you've secured your job, you have some active income, and you've started having some predictable money that comes in to your bank every month. During this stage, it could also happen that you still have certain loans and mortgages, that is your student loan, your any personal loan. You may have already started taking a mortgage for home, etc., but you're entering into the secure phase. So that is after the financial awareness. That is where probably in your mid 20s, in your late 20s, that is where you have, in case you are in that, that's where you'll be entering into that stage. So don't be disheartened and seeing that, look, from the very day one, or you'll be into the financial independence stage. Everybody goes through that same journey. We did that same in our case also. The next stage that comes after that is basically financial stability. That means that you've been able to secure an active income, you have that income going in, and then you're in the more of a stable state, by which you most likely in your early 30s, mid 30s, where you most likely started, you got married, you got settled down, you have a mortgage on your house, and hopefully in that financial security stage is where you do not have any other loans pending, or any other debt other than your mortgage debt, hopefully. And you have an income that is also growing, and hopefully growing, like we keep saying in many of your videos, that you're able to double your income every 5 years. So that is where you're more into a stable job, stable life, going forward. So again, financial awareness will still continue, but you'll move from the security to the stability phase. The next stage that comes is the financial flexibility. That is where most likely in your late 30s, in your early 40s, that your mortgage is not something that is becoming or hanging over your head. You have not just in savings, but you have a good investments portfolio. You have a diversified investment portfolio, and also you are in the stage of life where you have that flexibility to maybe even change a job, because you have a certain runway in form of emergency fund. Like we've done in many of our videos, defined that emergency fund, the rule of thumb of calculation that we've always used is that 24 minus the target year of your years to your retirement. So in case you're 10 years away from your retirement, that means 24 minus 10, that means you should have 14 months of an emergency fund, and that is in your flexibility. And as a minimum, you should have 6 months of an emergency fund cash flow available. So it gives you that opportunity to take a risk and even maybe switch jobs and get on for other jobs that can probably also catapult your savings and catapult your career. Just keep one thing in mind, and that's why the financial awareness is very important, is that as you move from the financial security to financial stability to financial flexibility, if you're very well financially aware, if you're with your family, you've raised that financial awareness, then your expenses will not be rising with that same proportion as your earnings would be. Your earnings hopefully would be accelerating much more. Your expenses would be, when you're just maybe having a little bit of lifestyle inflation and your regular inflation. So that means that you will be saving a lot more over the years as you move from these stages. That means that as this table shows on the other side, that you will see that the years to years, your financial independence increases faster and faster, because that gap increases between your earnings, saving potential versus your spending potential. And that is a very important line to track, especially by the time you get into the financial flexibility stage, because keep in mind, that is when the lifestyle catches up. That is when the kids are going to schools and they're growing up. You're socializing more, you're upgrading your house, you're upgrading your car, and so on and so forth. So financial flexibility is the stage where people falter the most, and even us, that is where we also faltered the most. From a career perspective, financial flexibility is also the stage where your career can either be catapulting to almost as a different level, or it could even maybe stagnate. So that is where you have to also make sure that from a career perspective, you're doing all the things that are needed to upgrade your skills, to stand out from the others, because from a career perspective, when you are in the security phase, financial securities phase, you're at the, let's say, the starting of the corporate ladder. By the time you get into the financial stability phase, you're at the mid management position. But by the time you're in the flexibility, you're moving from mid management towards the senior management. So that is where your earnings can really skyrocket, or your career can also peak or maybe stagnate. So be very careful of that. And that is also the time when you have to make sure that your money starts making money and starts showing the results, because the financial security stage is all about pumping money from a savings towards investments. The next stage, when you're stable enough, you're taking a little bit more bolder risk of diversifying your investment. But the flexibility is the stage when that is the time your portfolio is diverse enough that it has started showing the results of that passive income coming to your bank. So that means that you are earning money and your portfolio is also earning money. And after the financial flexibility phase is the financial independence or financial freedom phase. Now, this is the phase when you are mathematically at a point where the current expenses that you're doing, your passive income or your money is making enough money that it can sustain your current expenses. Or even if it is not generating so much passive income, just by the virtue of your portfolio being large enough that you are in the range of 3 to 4%, if you would have theoretically withdrawn from your portfolio the 3 to 4%, you can just sustain your lifestyle by just that withdrawal. You don't need the income that you're working, your active income that you're working for. So that is when you get into the financial independence stage. That is when you can either decide to continue working, or you can decide to think about retiring early. And like we keep saying in most of our videos, that see, retiring early is just an option. Financial independence or achieving that stage of financial independence is a must. So that's where you are the judge. You may say, hey, I want to continue for another few years just because I'm enjoying my job. And if you decide to do so, being at the financial independence stage gives you the ability to think and decide without the need of being in the political dynamics of an organization or being emotionally involved or getting emotionally drained. So when we achieve this financial independence stage, as I've spoken in a couple of my other videos, that we decided to continue, or at least I decided to continue working for a couple of other years. So I fell for that one more year syndrome for a few years because I was enjoying so much. However, even though I was enjoying, the good thing was that during my work days, during the meetings, I had this very good clarity of thought that I am working for the pleasure of working. So I could take bolder decisions, I could make bolder decisions, I could make bolder statements, I could make politically incorrect statements. So it's a very good place to be in, even if you decide not to retire early but continue working. But having said, this is, if you do achieve financial independence, that is a very important point to time to do that soul searching and say, hey, should I continue working or should I start enjoying life? Why? Because the next stage is a very dangerous stage, and that is the financial abundance stage. That is that you have not only achieved financial independence, but you have accumulated more than enough money that it is mathematically an impossibility for you to run out of money if you are not just doing crazy things in your lifestyle. If you're just leading your regular lifestyle, mathematically it will be very difficult if your withdrawal rate is anywhere between 1 to 2% or 2.5% to run out of money in your lifetime. And that is the time when you have to start seeing, or at least judging, that look, what is your enough point? This is something that, again, we've addressed in a couple of our videos. To define that enough point is a very important part of our life. Now, what happens when you do achieve financial independence and we did meet a couple of people during these meetups, as well as with all these interactions through the channel, that there are quite a few folks who are watching these videos who have achieved financial independence, but they have either an insecurity of the fear of the unknown. They do not know will they enjoy retirement or not, or there is an insecurity that is this enough for them to sustain themselves, or it is just that they are really enjoying the work. And as I said, if you're really enjoying your work, great. But if there is an insecurity, you need to make sure that you don't fall into that trap, because just keep in mind that wealth is infinite, time is finite, and especially health and those go years are even more finite than the rest of the lifetime. So these are the stages that you will go through, where the awareness that should continue till even whatever stage you go through, and then you can evaluate out of the security, stability, flexibility, independence, and finally abundance, where you stand at the moment, and do a good evaluation there. And in case you are achieving or you're getting nearer to that independent stage, start having those discussions with family to saying that what would you want to retire to. Because if you don't have that discussions and you don't know what you want to retire to, rather than just retire from something, then you will be in that trap of insecurity, of the fear of the unknown. So I hope you found this video useful, insightful. If you think that there are any other stages, please do comment, and would love to hear from your thoughts, and also hear which stage you are in, and if there are other struggles that you are seeing other than just some of the points that I did mention. Till the next topic, till the next video, and till the next location, maybe in the air or maybe on the ground, goodbye from me. Bye bye.